Hello, friends. Today, when host Ireland and the Indian cricket team faced each other at the Civil Service Cricket Club ground in Belfast for the first high-voltage T20 match of India's Tour of Ireland, a fierce deluge of runs and a catastrophic storm of wickets were witnessed, writing a thrilling new chapter in the history of T20 cricket. On this green Belfast pitch that was highly conducive for fast bowlers, when Indian team captain Shreyas Iyer won the toss and made a highly fearless, courageous, and strategic decision to bowl first, the intentions of Ireland's explosive openers Ross Adair and captain Lorcan Tucker, who walked out as the opening duo, were to counterattack the Indian fast bowlers right from the start. Coming in to bowl the first over of the innings, on the third delivery, a high-speed, in-swinging delivery of India's express bowler Prasidh Krishna, Ross Adair extended a strong front foot and struck a magnificent, crisp, straight drive past mid-on to open Ireland's account with a boundary. Following this, from the other end, captain Lorcan Tucker also went on the back foot against Arshdeep Singh's short ball to play a wonderful square cut behind point, collecting a splendid boundary. And then on the very next ball, beautifully using his magical wrists, he struck a fierce and sky-high six over the square leg boundary. Both openers brought such a storm of boundaries and sixes to all four corners of the ground that within the first power play itself, Indian captain Shreyas Iyer began to look a bit worried. Ross Adair played a fiery innings of 28 runs off just 15 balls, courtesy of 3 boundaries and 2 sixes. However, this highly aggressive, courageous, and fast start made by the Irish batsman did not sit well at all with India's young express fast bowler Harshit Rana. To completely curb this rapid flow of runs on this green Belfast pitch and to engineer a strong comeback for the Indian team in the match, Rana adopted a dangerous strategy in the 5th over of the innings. Running in from his run-up, Harshit Rana bowled a crisp, in-swinging length delivery on the off-stump line at a fierce and fire-breathing speed of 142 km per hour. Standing at the striker's end, the dangerous opener Ross Adair completely failed to judge the extreme pace of this ball and its lightning-fast inward swing after hitting the deck. Attempting to come forward onto the front foot to defend, he was completely beaten. The ball pierced through the narrow gap between his bat and pad, passing extremely close to the tat, and went straight into his middle stump, uprooting it into the air for a clean bowled, causing the stumps to land far away. Immediately after this heavy blow, their most reliable batsman, Harry Tector, walked out to the crease to bat at the crucial number 3 spot. After the dismissal of Ross Adair, India's mystery leg spinner Ravi Bishnoi and his partner, off-spinner Washington Sundar, arrived to weave their magical spin on this Belfast ground, unleashing their turning variations. Their combination of brilliant flight and precise drift in the air created such a terrifying, scary, and impenetrable web that completely broke the backbone of the Ireland middle order. To ease the pressure in the middle overs, Irish captain Lorcan Tucker did step out slightly to a flighted ball from Ravi Bishnoi, hitting a magnificent and classic boundary over the infield in the direction of covers. However, from the other end, their batsman looked completely helpless against the spin of Washington Sundar. Showing cleverness in a crucial over of the innings, Sundar bowled a flat, fast, and beautifully drifting crisp delivery in the air. Their experienced all-rounder, Curtis Campher, completely missed the line of this ball. Campher made a final attempt to defend this low-staying delivery from deep within the crease on a solid back foot, but the ball, after hitting the deck, miraculously stayed straight, deceiving his bat and crashing straight into his pads right in front of the wickets. On a fierce and loud appeal by the Indian players, the field umpire raised his finger immediately without wasting any time, declaring him out LBW. Following the dismissal of Curtis Campher, the entire Ireland team began losing their wickets one after another like a pack of cards, completely surrendering under the rising required run rate of this big match and the intense pressure of the Indian bowlers. The entire match had now come 100% under the complete control and strategies of the Indian team, causing the entire Belfast stadium to continuously echo with the sky-rending and goosebump-inducing chants of India, India, and Jeetega bhai Jeetega, India Jeetega. The match had now entered its final overs, the death overs stage, and reaching very close to the historic victory line. Just like the Indian women's cricket team, these brave bowlers of the men's team completely reduced Ireland's lower and tail-end order to rubble. Making his international cricket debut in the first match of this series, India's young and promising fast bowler Prince Yadav completely lived up to the trust of captain Shreyas Iyer, showcasing a wonderful display of sharp and precise bowling on the final deliveries of his spell. Prince Yadav completely trapped Ireland's main fast bowler, Mark Adair, who was trying to play big shots towards the end. Prince cleverly rolled his fingers over the ball, changing the pace to deliver a sharp, outward-moving, short-of-length delivery. Mark Adair failed to read this slower ball and, due to the extra bounce, ended up hitting it in the air while attempting a big shot over covers. There, fielder Harshit Rana, stationed inside the 30-yard circle, ran forward to take an extremely brilliant, safe, and agile catch. Even after Mark Adair's dismissal, the Ireland team kept handing easy catches to the Indian boundary fielders, one after another, in their continuous attempts to play big shots. Consequently, the entire host team of Ireland could only reach a very ordinary and respectable score of 144 runs for the loss of 8 wickets at the conclusion of the designated 20 overs of play. This disciplined, lethal, and destructive performance by the Indian bowlers restricted Ireland to a small total, laying the strongest, concrete, and 100% foundation for a splendid and blockbuster victory for the Indian team even before the second innings of the match began. Chasing this respectable yet challenging target of 145 runs, when the Indian team's opening duo, the explosive and fearless opener Abhishek Sharma, and along with him, India's young run machine Vaibhav Suryavanshi, walked out onto the field, a catastrophic whirlwind of runs and a historic storm hit the Civil Service Cricket Club ground in Belfast, completely pushing the entire Irish camp and their bowlers onto the back foot. Bringing the first over of the Indians' innings, Ireland's most experienced fast bowler Mark Adair bowled his second ball slightly over-pitched on the off-stump line, on which Abhishek Sharma displayed incredible class. He extended his strong front foot, beautifully balanced his body, reached the pitch of the ball, and struck a magnificent, crisp, picturesque, and classic straight drive right past mid-on to open the Indian team's account with a boundary. Adair was left completely stunned and surprised by this first blow. However, the celebration of the Indian fans had only just begun. The young opening batsman Vaibhav Suryavanshi, famously known as the boss baby of Indian cricket, completely cleared his highly aggressive, terrifying, and destructive intentions as soon as he stepped onto the crease from the other end. When Ireland's main express fast bowler, Joshua Little, came to bowl his first over, Vaibhav used a strong back foot in the blink of an eye against a high-speed, sharp, short-pitched delivery, created room, and played a wonderful, crisp, bullet-paced square cut behind point to collect a splendid boundary. In an attempt to make a comeback on the very next ball, Little changed his strategy, pulling his length back slightly to deliver a sharp bouncer. However, Vaibhav Suryavanshi, who was completely charged up, read the length and pace of the ball very quickly. Standing right inside the crease, he made an extremely beautiful and magical use of his wrists, striking a fierce and sky-high 6 over the square leg boundary, forcing the spectators sitting in the stands to erupt in joy. Both of these powerful and fearless opening batsmen brought such a destructive, terrifying, merciless, and cruel storm of boundaries and sixes to all 4 corners of the Belfast ground that within the first power play itself, Irish captain Lorcan Tucker began to look completely helpless, desperate, and distressed. He was continuously changing his bowlers and making major adjustments in fielding positions, but stopping this fiery and ruthless batting of the Indian openers was proving to be impossible. Abhishek Sharma was heading towards a massive and historic score today, completely destroying the line and length of the Irish bowlers. He faced just 18 balls and played a highly explosive and entertaining innings of 35 runs, courtesy of 4 crisp boundaries and 2 splendid sixes. After this, in an attempt to play a big aerial shot off a high-speed delivery from Craig Young, he handed an easy catch on the boundary line, handing India its first blow. Following the dismissal of Abhishek Sharma, the captain himself and the main pillar of the Indian batting lineup, Shreyas Iyer, walked out to take full charge of the batting at the most crucial, responsible and delicate number 3 position. After stepping onto the crease and gauging the nature of the pitch, Iyer assumed such a furious, colossal, dreadful, terrifying, and destructive form of batting that completely reduced the entire bowling attack and strategies of Ireland to rubble. Shreyas Iyer's unmatched and classic timing, his incredible lightning-like reflexes, and his excellent hand-eye coordination looked to be at their career best, unprecedented, unparalleled, and most dangerous peak today on this historic Belfast ground. After settling